Welcome back to Movified. I'm your host, Mark Hirschi, owner of Salmon's Moving and Stores located in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. And today is Movified Mondays. I am very excited for our guest today. We are traveling all the way to the East Coast. We are going to New Jersey, and we have the president of Big G Movers, Traci Gerckens herself, sitting with me, and I'm so excited to have you on. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you, Mark. I'm excited to be here. Jersey in the house with you today.
That's right. Every time I think of Jersey, I always think of like the Real Housewives of New Jersey, and I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be trouble. So this is great. I feel like we might be throwing cups at the screen or something.
That's right. I'm
And get
flipping
some.
desks
That's
over
right.
here.
We're flipping desks. We're shouting words that we shouldn't be shouting. It's so much fun. Well, Tracy, I mean, first, congratulations. I mean, being the president of a moving company is no feat. Whether you are female, male, black, white, whatever the situation is, when you are at that situation, there is always a lot of weight that gets put on your shoulders. How have you controlled that, being in the industry that we are in?
Yeah, I will be like fully transparent here. On paper, I am president of Big G Movers. Off paper, Gary, the Big G in Big G Movers, and I are like 50-50, making 110%, making this circus roll over here. So in no way, shape, or form am I taking full credit for any of this chaos. We share everything. We each have a very clear, defined role in the business, and we stay in our lane. And that is really how we make this sale.
And I love that. To me, when you have your partnership in a moving industry or any business, there's one person that is holding onto the wheel and making sure, and then the other person that's guiding you to the lighthouse and making sure that we're in the right direction, not going to crash.
Yeah, sure.
So when you have that working well together, it is full steam ahead.
100%. We are polar opposites, to be
right.
honest, in every possible way. And I think that's what makes it work. Like,
The key to success.
yeah, I am like the visionary, the dreamer, the like goal setter. I see the things and I'll like call them out, as they come out of my head. And then I'm like, now you go do it. You go make it actually happen every day with the guys and make all the moves actually happen.
Sure. You got the dreamer and then you got the innovator, right? So let's make it happen. But let's bring it way back. Let's start right from the beginning. What made you and Gary say, hey, this sounds like a great career move?
For sure, that is not what happened, because I don't think anyone ever sets out to own a moving company. I always get stuck with answering this question because I never know like how far back to go or like how in detail to go, because our personal story is so intertwined with our business story. So like our personal relationship is so much about our business. So just give you a little like backstory. So it's second marriages for both of us. It's blended family. And so I was always like straight and narrow, good girl, school, college, work. He is a whole other can of worms, complete opposite of my life, like all over the place, change of jobs, like very unstable person. So I spent 25 years in education prior to this business. So literally like the school district I grew up going to as a student, went away to college, came back, and that's where I got hired like a week after I graduated as like a third grade teacher at the time. So I knew nothing other than like education was my life. Went to school for that, was a teacher for about 5 years, and then went back to school for my master's in counseling, school counseling. And then I'm showing my age here. Columbine happened, if you recall, the massive school shooting. And all of our 11 elementary schools in my district at that time hired elementary school counselors for the very first time. They were only at the high school. So I was like, I've only been teaching for 5 years, but this opportunity, there's only 11 in the whole district. I'm never going to get this opportunity again. So let me just go for it. I got the job. I was a school counselor for 20 years. In that time, went through separation, divorce, and literally planning like my back to end of the school year party with a group of girls where they're like, come with us. You know the guy, you know the owner, help us plan this. I don't go out. I'm like, literally like, I have these 2 little ones at home. I haven't been to a bar in 10 years. Like, it's dragging me out. All right, I'll go have dinner. So on this night, we plan the end of the year school party. In stumbles Gary. I'm like newly separated. I'm first time out in 10 years at a bar. I see, you can't miss Gary, 6'8". I notice him walk in. I see him.
Gary's 6'8". He's
Oh yeah,
6'8".
6'8". So
Okay.
nicknamed Big G his whole
Sure.
life, and that is where the name came from. Gary struggled with drugs and alcohol his entire life. I, of course, don't know any of this when I meet him. But what do I care? You know, like, he's just a good time. This is new to me where I'm out and about, you know, for the first time in
Tall,
10
dark, and handsome.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
he's just fun, and that's all
Sure.
I need right now. So who cares? So long story short, we end up actually in a relationship. And this goes on with him having these issues for probably a year at least of me in the picture. And when things start to get serious, I'm like, I have like a real life and a real job and real kids, and like, I can't be with you like this. So here we are with him, 12 years clean and sober as a
Amazing.
result. Amazing.
Wow.
I mean, like, completely different person. You would unrecognizable. So in that time of him, like, having literally nothing, lost everything, a stumbling mess, we're like, how do we get you back on your feet? So I'm like on Craigslist, literally looking up jobs, anything that he can do to make $20 because he doesn't have gas money to like go see his kids on the weekend. It's truly that bad. So he's like barbecuing for parties on weekends. I mean, any little gig. Took a job where he had to like carry a woman who had cancer down the stairs and into her car for $20 a couple times a week. He picked up a job like we found where he was driving someone who lost their license for DWI. How funny. For like random, odd, crazy jobs. Then I started responding to these like, I need to load a pod, I need to load a truck. So I would get him on those sort of jobs. Then I was like, how about I start posting some of these jobs instead of responding to some of these jobs?
Moving companies, you know referrals are the best leads, right? But communicating with customers, tracking progress, managing payouts, it's just overwhelming. That's why at Snowball, we do it all for you. And we're really good at it. In fact, in just a few months, the Snowball platform helped JK Moving generate over $200K in new revenue. We even helped New City Moving book 30 moves in a single month. If you have happy customers, we can get you referrals. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get the first 2 months on us.
Are you a mover looking to make an impact? Discover Moving Letters AI and join the ML Plus Club today. Elevate your customer engagement with the personal touch of handwritten letters.
If you want to take your company to that next level, it's the only way to subscribe. If you're doing anything but Moving Letters AI, you need to get on it. So it's going to take your business to that next level. You're going to see an increase in that revenue. Let's go.
I highly recommend using this company. They're amazing to work with. They even send you an email on how much work they're producing for you.
Don't miss out. Join the revolution and start making moves that matter.
Put a golden damn ticket in there with Moving Letters AI.
And like the phone started ringing. So it's him and this other guy. His history. He did sales, car sales, mortgage. He did all sorts of sales in his background. So him and this other guy that is still with us today that he knew from the mortgage days was him and this other guy doing all these jobs. I mean, till 2 in the morning, doing all of the
Sure, put that hustle and grind in.
absolutely. So, New Jersey, we come to find out, does this sting operation over the summer for busting unlicensed moving companies. We
Oh
know
boy.
nothing. We don't know what we're doing. We're just like, we don't even know you need a license or insurance. We're just trying to literally like get him out of
Yeah,
a
make a
hole.
buck and yeah, for
That's
sure.
it. So him, this guy, we're like, oh, book this job way too easily. And it's to like a storage facility to like load up or pick up something at storage. And they pull in and there's all these cops and all these,
Oh,
U-Hauls all pulled over.
jeez.
And basically the bottom line is you owe a $10,000 fine or you have 6 months to get a moving license and be legitimate. So we're like, crossroads, turning point here, just maybe like a couple months into his sobriety at this time. And I'm still like in the school system trying to juggle both of these things, making decisions. Am I really like, we're not engaged yet? Nothing. We're like newly living together and just getting off the ground as a couple, digging him out of this hole. So we're like, literally, I remember feeling like I'm rolling the dice on this guy in my life right now, and go to my uncle to borrow some money to buy a small little 15-foot U-Haul that we scrounge up money to get lettered, and let's give this thing a go. And here we are, 13 years later, and 9 trucks and 30 guys, and actually 7. We just took 2 off the road, so we're back down to 7. Yeah, and then watching this happen and grow, and I find this love of business that I never knew I had because I'm like trapped in my little world of school my whole life. I'm starting to kind of find resentment towards this, like, set your own schedule, create your own day, build this thing that my whole life is like set out for me. This is your path. This is what you're going to make this year. Like it was like I started to feel like I'm just this herd of cattle, like bell to bell, like living my life by a calendar. So I'm doing this over the summer with him and nights, and I'm loving it. Just loving the idea of building something. I'm too young to retire at the time and like get my full pension and all this. And it just,
You still
or
are.
I still am. I
That's
still
right.
am. But I did it. So what we ended up doing was I had to suck it up for 5 years more until I could be 25 years in the school system in
Okay.
order to get the health benefits for
Sure.
life. So I'm like
Okay.
that close. How do I leave now? So we make it work for those 5 years. And then I took early retirement and went just all in on this.
And during those 5 years, were you trying to, I mean, obviously now you're in love with Gary, you're trying to get this business going, you have this debt now to your uncle. There must be this sense of dual. I can still be the counselor. I still need to be helping in the moving industry or into the moving business. How was that juggle for those 5 years?
It was awful. It was really
And the kids
awful.
too, right? Let's not even talk about the kids. You s
Right, right. Yeah.
did
Trying to
Ga did
like
Gary have children as well too?
he sure does. He has
Yeah.
4. Yeah,
4.
4. 2 are,
Okay.
like, out and older. One's in Michigan, and one's, amazing, graduated from Rutgers, got great job. And then his 2 and my 2 are very similar in age. So, like, they grew up pretty much together, the every other weekend type of deal. And it's truly like everybody calls us the Brady Bunch because it
I was gonna say, well, you had the 6,
really
right? You had
is.
the
We
3 and
are
3.
6 and it's 3 and 3, girls and boys. When I say, like, if I could have pulled it out of a textbook, like, I truly feel like we did everything right to make it work in every way, in the family way, in the relationship way, in the business way. But doing it was, like, hard and required patience.
I felt like you really, I mean, some people can kinda get off scot-free, right? They'll never run into that situation where they're pulling up into a storage facility and there's cops everywhere, and they're looking at you going, "These are your options. This is where you gotta get done," which already would be a shock. There's others that maybe never hit that rock bottom to have to go into sobriety, and they have coasted their way through the 5 to 10 years with many ups and downs and hiccups, but never actually said, this is going to destroy my life, because they've just skate by. When you get to that point where these situations happen right in the beginning, and then you two are looking at each other going, okay, well, I'd have to hit 25 years. I can get this. We have, now these expenses, we have children that we have to support as well too, as well as supporting each other. I mean, it's a lot of pressure, right? There's a lot of pressure as well too. I mean, I lost all my hair from that pressure. I feel like your hair just got a blowout. So like, it's I feel like you're the one who's winning here, Tracy. I'm losing here on the other hand.
He's a fighter. Like, he is a fighter. If you knew him then and saw him now, you would truly never know that they were the same people. He's got this will. Both of us together, we say, like, if we set out to have a landscaping business, like, we're getting out there with a scissor and we're going to have the best freaking landscaping business like that ever existed. You have these two type A, like, psycho-driven personalities together, and it's like when we made that decision to drop my salary of security, and 25 years in, school counselor, 2 master's degrees, I'm making good money. I'm making six figures. Like, that decision was so difficult to make. It's like, I'm going, and we are this all in personality, whatever it is we're doing. His was drinking and drugs, all in, psycho like
At the
that
time, yep.
at the time. Yeah. And so when you stop that, we're going like hardcore all in on this. There was no plan B. Like, failure is not an option. And that has always been our mentality. So even now, like, we're in this another sort of crossroads, not just us, like, the moving industry is tough right now. Times are tough, numbers are down, and we're in the middle of looking for colleges for my younger daughter right now. So I'm going to have 2 in at the same time for 2 years. And it's expensive, and we're in like panic mode, but we choose not to stay in panic mode. So that's sort of like how we operate. Like, I do all the homework, I gather all the information, I get all the research, I we work it, we sit down, we look at it, and then we're just like right now, like, holy crap, how are we going to do this? And then we just do. Like, we find a way to power through, and somehow it always works out. And that's where I'm at right now. Like, we sort of, went through, because we're narrowing down. She applied to 17 schools. We've narrowed it down to 2, thankfully. So we're almost there. But like, now you're really looking at the numbers and you're being like, it's scary with moving being slower. But like, again, like, there is no plan B. We don't have other options.
You set your goals in motion and you make it happen.
Right.
One of the things that you mentioned, and it's interesting because last week I was speaking with another couple where I said, come on the podcast. And the husband, it was another husband and wife team that are in the industry. And the husband turned to me and says, she's got it. And I said, no, like, I want both of you guys to sit down. He turned to me, he goes, that is her lane. She is so good at what she does. I would probably just fumble. And I just want her to lead that conversation. And she loves being in front of the camera and being able to talk about the industry and where she's at involved in the company and involved also in the community and everywhere else. You say the same thing about you and Gary, and it's really about finding those good lines. When before we were talking, Tracy's like, just don't hit me with the KPIs, right? Don't get me those numbers. Like, let's talk about anything else, because that's really Gary's strengths. And so I said, okay, that cuts our interview by half, but that's totally fine. No, I'm joking. But everybody has their different strengths. What would be one of the can you recall like a funny moment or something unexpected where you and Gary complimented each other running the company, of like, who's the planner, like, let's move this, or like how that kind of work, where you both realized, oh, we definitely have this role and that role?
I can't even specifically recall like any moment that it just sort of naturally happened like that. What doesn't help is that we have no help. it is literally
Right.
just the two of us. As far as like answering the phones and booking the jobs, like that is both of us. We both do that, but I am more behind the scenes, behind like I'll do like all the online stuff, the quote requests, the email stuff. He has no patience for that. He doesn't even use a computer, does I want to say doesn't know how, but he
Get that
probably
on a piece of paper and write down
is
and
like, I'll go to their house, he's
sure.
very good in person, he's very good on the phone. Sales, that's his thing, but, like, he runs the day-to-day operations of the business, with the guys. I almost have nothing to do with the guys. I will run, like, the meetings that we have with the guys, the educational pieces that we have with the guys, the trainings, like, that is my school background.
You've come into an industry where you still need to counsel. It's just
Exactly,
they're just all adults this time. They're
exactly.
not kids.
I remember bringing up an issue in the moving Facebook group with like, the guys and the drama with the guys. And I feel like it was Lorne who said to me, and I like never forgot it, like, How are you even asking this question? You are a counselor, you have a counseling background, bring that with you. And that's
Sure.
how and I'm like, wow, yeah, you're right. I never thought about that. But like, I feel like that's what led me to so many of the other things that I'm doing too with the different Facebook groups and the women in business and the masterminds and things like that. I feel like I was able to hang on to the piece of the education world that I loved, and that is like the learning piece of it. I'm truly like forever a student, and I love the conferences. I love the networking. I love the webinars. I watch every single podcast you guys put out. Like that I need to keep learning. I truly do, and I get so much out of that. So I feel like and Gary, on the other hand, he's just like he can't sit behind a desk. He can't sit and like he
He's the
needs to
go, go,
just
go.
be yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, which is totally I get that.
Being found on the second page of Google is literally like having a billboard in the middle of the desert. Yo mama ain't gonna see it. No one's gonna see it. You're on the second page of Google. No one's gonna call. No one's gonna book. Here is the deal. If your business is not ranking on the top of Google, that means your competitors are going to be stealing your customers every single day. So at Rotate Digital, we don't play any guessing games. We use data-driven SEO strategies to make sure Google finds you first so that these Google searches turn into your customers, not your competitors' customers. How do we do it? We do it through AI-driven keyword optimization, exclusive blog networks, backlinking strategies, and honestly, the secret stuff, the proprietary lead attribution software. So what do you get as a result? You get not only good marketing, but now you get clarity into what is bringing you more revenue. So if that's something you want to do, you want to make sure your leads find you and not your competition, go ahead and go to rotatedigital.com, schedule a call, and we'll help you take your business to the top of Google.
Hi, I'm Mark Hirschi with Salmon's Moving and Storage. Today, I want to talk about Tighten Up training. Why? Because this is Netflix grade quality training. It's not those old videos and VHSs that you got hiding in your office somewhere. It's online, it's easy to use, they're short videos, but they get to the point. My new employees, these guys run through these training programs, there's tests at the end, and they're coming out going, oh, I'm ready to rock. So if you haven't checked out Tighten Up training yet, get a demo done. Get on board. Guess what else is there? Online portals for my sales staff. Can you believe it? These guys can learn how to overcome objections and book more leads today. So what are you waiting for? Go check out Tighten Up training today.
Now, we talked about marketing, and as Tracy said, I don't really remember doing this. But I remember getting a message from Tracy with a group of us. I think it was me, Brian Slater, and Stephen Reed, or could have been just me and Brian. But Tracy, from the time I've met her and talked to her, is always an individual that's been embracing getting out of her comfort zone. It is something that a lot of us, we don't like change. A lot of us, as we get older, we get stuck in our ways. I mean, you've been doing this for so many years, and all this new technology comes out, and people are going, well, but you got to do this and you got to do that, and get in front of that camera and record yourself and film this. If you're not used to that, if you're not a massive extrovert that already, and even for myself being on camera, doing a podcast, I'm also not that person that's going to go, hey, and put the camera in front of my face and do a bunch of filming. I'm like, what am I going to
Right.
say? And how am I going to do?
Right.
And do I sound
Yeah.
foolish? And how many
And
takes am I going to go through? Right, Tracy? We all know that situation, right? 20 takes later.
yeah.
But it was a conversation where he said, look, I think at that time it was really trying to hit customers. And by going to see a customer or confirm a job, it is, hey, let's take a quick video and tell the customer, hey, this is Tracy from Big G Movers, confirming your move. We're so excited to see your move. Or, hey, we're going to come out to see your home. Just let you know, we're 30 minutes out. My name is Tracy. Like this whole conversation. And you sent it to us going, what do you guys think? I think I took this about 30 different times, and I finally figured it out. And I'll never forget it because you did such a wonderful job. But it was around that same time that the next thing you know, I look on a movers messaging board, and Miss Gerckens over here is going, I'm starting a women's mastermind group. Who's going? We're going to do this. I'm starting Zoom things, and she's recording things. I go on there and she's like, today I'm cooking this and I'm making this. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Tracy just went like full on, a home shopping channel network, and I'm watching like the cooking show, and it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing and remarkable. And I love it because you shine so much when you're in front of the camera. It's
Well, all I
contagious.
can say to that is like, then I fake it really well because it is still super uncomfortable for me. I think the only thing I can say that's different from then when I sent you "Is this okay?" video is I just don't think about it anymore. Like I stop overthinking it and I just do it. And
You have to.
there's
Yeah.
yeah, and there's so many like pivotal moments in my life that I can actually feel the feeling and remember the moment where I was like, you have to do this no matter what. Like, no matter how uncomfortable this is, you have to get through to the other side of it, or you will never get to the next level of whatever it is you're trying to do. And I believe that with every ounce of my being because I've lived it. And I love the feeling that you get at the other side when you step back, the thing, whatever it is done, you did it. And like now you can look back and feel just pride. Like that is one of the best feelings to me is to look back at something you went through and feel proud about it. That I keep as like my motivator, to like even this, like, on the side, I was like, no, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I don't want to, but like, for how long can I say that about anything? I don't want to be like that. And I use my kids always as like my strategy. I want to bring up kids that don't let their fear stop them from doing things and to show them. And I'm so open with them, like, oh, I'm scared, I don't want to do this. And they're like, but I do it to show them what happens after you do. Like they see what me and Gary did. The world honestly saw what me and Gary did. I feel like I was so public on Facebook specifically before all these other things were out there, about our relationship falling apart and starting a new one, my personal relationship, and bringing Gary into the mix and everyone in my little Facebook world seeing our lives change in front of their eyes and like building
They've
this
watched the
business.
journey.
Yeah, and like I mean that everyone, all the comments all the time are like, you guys need a show. When are you going to have a reality show?
Right? See?
The
There you
American
go.
dream, what you guys did, and I truly, I say all the time, Facebook like built our business. I swear by that, just by being so public about our life and people bought into the story. Not that it's a fake story, it's our story.
It's all a facade. It's all a facade. the cat's out of the bag. Nothing like this even happened. This whole episode has just been a big BS story. No, I'm joking. But it's one of the things that Reagan Wise from 43 Inc., shout out Reagan and the Hub, had said to me multiple times, where the fact is we live in a world filled with cameras and technology. And if we don't utilize that to build our legacy, he goes, if you look back and wish that your grandparents, when you sit down and you want to have conversations with them, and there's all these amazing stories and situations that they went through, but there was really nothing, right? I mean, you might get a couple photos. You might be lucky enough to get some old video that you still have to wind up and put on a projector. But now we live in an age where everything can be recorded. And it's, what kind of legacy are you leaving for your children, your grandchildren, for those to look down and go, wow, like that was my grandfather. These are the changes that he did. These are the people that he influenced. It's pretty remarkable. And so for yourself to already back then share your story, maybe it wasn't on camera, but it was through pictures and through words and everything that people can go back and reference. You've already built this brand in your community for Big G, which already shows it. And the work ethics. I mean, you don't go from 1 truck to 9 trucks without putting in the hard work and proving that, you are a professional moving company, actually like the #1 rated moving company in New Jersey. It shows by all your Google reviews. It shows by all the people that follow you on Facebook. It is something to be completely proud of as
Thank
a
you, Mark.
legacy
I
that you have
appreciate
built.
that.
I kind of want to bring it back to the women's mastermind, because I love this. I
Yeah.
love women in the industry. I feel like change is needed. I was at the ATA conference, or the moving and storage conference in Nashville last week. And one of an amazing woman that I met is the president of the Florida moving, like sits on the board for the Florida Moving and Storage Chamber, or council group. And what she had mentioned to me, or shared as a story, was that when she got involved in there, like it was almost laughable to ever think that she would be sitting on that board. It's old boys club. And she proved it to herself, and she proved to the rest of the group, hey, guess what? I'm going to be on that board, and I'm going to be the president. And so she has, and she's done amazing things in that area. Starting a women's mastermind to empower and to bring together women in the industry. What made you want to do this, and how is it going? Because anybody that's listening to this going, man, I would love to be part of it. I would love my wife to be part of it, or I'd love to have someone in my office be part. Like, how does this work? How has it been going? Tell me all about it.
Let me think about how long ago. I want to say it was maybe 3 years ago. Rob Marchese, you know them, out in Long Island, reached out to me because he was bringing his wife, leaving education, bringing his wife more into the business. And he wanted her to have another female to sort of talk to about all this. And he had said that, she was interested on looking to start something on Facebook for the women. So I reached out to her. Her and I co-created just a women in moving business Facebook group. So there's a few hundred of us in that Facebook group, and it just wasn't very active. It was, so I went to a Lewis event, probably, I think it was like the 2019 one, and I met a bunch of people, and some were the couples in the business, some were not, mostly guys. And I just always felt like women in this business have like different issues, because not only do we have all of the other same issues that the guys have, but typically like we're going to be the ones to also have like the mom things. And I tell you, it was like fear of missing out of all of those in-person events. The Lewis one got kind of shut down after that 2019 one because of COVID. So I was able to still do the virtual ones. But then I would watch like Wade and Chad start up their little mansion events. And I wanted to do that. But I'm like, here in the thick of the business, when you have just me and Gary doing all the things, it's hard to leave the business. We have no help. On top of that, I've got my kids in school. So I felt just trapped by not being able to be at the things I love the most, which is connecting with people. Like more so than the actual event of sitting there and listening to Lewis. I do that
Yeah,
enough with all.
we've said this on events as well too, where
Yeah,
sometimes you go to these events and yeah, okay, it's information, but it's really the networking. It's really the
100%.
community
It's
and building that out for
connecting with
sure.
all the people, like, in the group that I love the most, and so I was, like, resenting the fact that I couldn't do that, so how my mind is just, so how can I get that without going to these events? And maybe other women have the same issue. They can't just, like, up and leave. They have kids and commitments, whatever. I even reached out to, like, Lewis and his team and Chris at one point to see if I could do something online that they would like coach us and create like a mastermind for us. Wasn't in the cards. I reached out. I don't know if Wade and Chad remember this. I reached out to them too when they were just starting these, little mansion type get togethers, if they would do something for just the women in the group online. Wasn't really in the cards. And then I was like, screw it. Like, maybe I don't need like someone to come in and lead it for us. We'll just figure it out ourselves and I'll just sort of lead it. And when I put out like an interest, anybody interested in, getting together on doing these virtual masterminds, there was like 50 women were interested in it. Now, of course, it turns out once you pick the day and the time and all the time differences that we're all in, it doesn't really work out to be 50 people can actually attend. But I would say on every call, there's 15 to 20 women. We
Amazing.
meet every other Wednesday, 10 a.m. my time. And we've sort of structured it so that we alternate. So like the one Wednesday will be what we call like an issue processing meeting where we have this ongoing, we call it like the parking lot document where you put like all your issues. What are you struggling with? What are you having a problem with? What do you need some advice and feedback on? Put them on the parking lot. And so once a month, we'll try to like go down those list of issues and just whoever has value to add to the topic, share. And then the other alternating meeting is on like we call it a special topic. And usually a topic will come out of an issue processing meeting. Um, like for instance, some of our special topics have been like pay structures, how do you pay your sales guy? Another special topic we spent one time just like how are you doing bonuses for your movers? Another time was just like during this slow winter season, what are you doing for like other forms of, thinking out of the box to make
Sure.
the money, how are you doing that? So we just it's I've never experienced so much intelligence in one room at one time with such willingness and eagerness to help each other. It is so amazing. I leave every one of those calls motivated and energized and just grateful for I'm so Allison, I'll call her out by name with Works. Everybody knows Allison. She's really been tremendous help. She has been involved in a lot of these mastermind groups before, like, other groups. And so she's offered her expertise with just how to set them up and she steps up to help run some of them. But there's like a core group of us that have like never missed any of them. I don't want to call them all out. But we've
Don't worry,
truly
we'll put the list in the description. So
we've just truly built something really special that it just takes the intimidation factor out of it, that you're not in a group with all these men who know everything,
bunch of
it's
men
a bunch
jerks,
of
right?
men
Like get
who
out of here.
sometimes make you feel like, they know everything and you're just, learning from them. We actually, believe it or not, have a lot to offer too. And
Oh,
it's
for sure
it's
you do.
amazing to watch, like,
Yes.
when someone shares a struggle and gets all the feedback, and by the end of that hour, like, knows what to do and knows how to fix it, it's just, like, amazing to watch happen.
I feel like if us men were allowed to sit in on a women's mastermind, we'd probably realize going like, oh, so that's what it means about putting topics and objections out and then actually implementing them afterwards and finding a solution. We'll we'll make it into a thing for a long time, right? So no. I think it's amazing and I love it. if someone that's listening would want to join or participate in it, is there any requirements? Is
Yeah, I mean, the
there
only
like
thing we ask is that you are a woman and you either, own, run, or help to run a moving company. And so there's people that we have that, the owner doesn't have the time to commit, but she has someone, one of her employees on.
what does the future look like for for the women's mastermind group? Is there going to be an outing, a retreat, a mansion event? What are we looking at?
I think I would love to see that happen. We've sort of like throw it out there in joke, but like I would love for that to happen.
Yeah, and to me, what I could see and what I wish should be happening is that if there was an event, and I'm calling out the shots here, and I'm calling out to shots to the Moving Time Retreat that's happening this September, that they set aside a time for the women in the industry to have their own meeting, whether it is for the afternoon portion of it, whether some free time, however it gets built into the schedule, that should happen 100%. Set it up, Wade, Chad, Faith. I'm calling you guys out, and make it happen. Make something like that happen. Or you know what, Tracy? I and the Let's Go Boys, we will make that happen for sure. I'm coming up on that trip. If you're able to come out to that trip, and those that are, I think it's a great opportunity. We did it with a golf tournament to try and raise some money, and we just kind of wung it and made it happen. And we would love to try and do the same thing with the women industry.
I think it's awesome. And we talked about it last time too, with the last retreat, like in our own group, like who's going? We should get together. We should, of course I couldn't go, but yeah, no, that is a goal. I would love to make that happen because the bonds and the connection that have already, and we're not even that old, we started, I think our first one was in August, so we're not even a year old yet. And just you could see with each meeting, like how much stronger the connections are.
Love it.
And a lot of things happen off of those calls too. Like someone will say, call me to so and so and I'll talk more about that with you. And they do. So many connections have been made off the group too.
Well, that's awesome. Now, when I think back of the fact that we talked about some of the situations that you had in the very beginning, being now in the industry for 12 years, if you could go back, what would you tell yourself? What was some of the advice that you'd give yourself to change, to do, that you wish you had known back then?
What's up, guys? Austin Yarbrough here, and this is your invitation to the Movers and Shakers event, April 28th, April 29th. I'm putting in the work right now so you can have the best event of your life. It's gonna be life-changing, it's gonna be amazing, and I'm just gonna be there to help, and you're gonna join the new family. This next family is here for you, and you're gonna be here for them. April 28th, April 29th, get your tickets, let's go.
That's easy. So we spent the first few years on the, perfecting the wing it model and just literally had like just controlled chaos. And then I spent several years after like really learning about Lewis and all that, getting all the processes dialed in, like getting everything down. If I knew in the beginning, I would have started that much sooner. Like just, as trivial as you think it is, just write it down, which would lead me to number 2 would be to hire fast, because I have learned, and are you familiar with Gary V? Gary, do you follow
Yeah.
Gary
Oh
V
yeah.
at all?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Well, we did a little small business thing with him a year or 2 ago, and something he said like sticks in my head big time. Like, John Smith in like Clifton, New Jersey doesn't give a shit about you and Gary and your story of what got you here. Like he just needs a move. Like you and Gary have wrapped your personality into your business. You're like who you are into your business and you let your egos get in the way. Like, well said, because very true. Very true. So we are now in this position where we tried hiring help 3 different times, 3 different people. And each time it was just like something would happen, or like we're listening to recorded calls and like cringing, like, no, like this isn't how we want it said, or what we want said, or this isn't what we want the message out to. So like we're just so still controlling the whole thing that we are also stunting our own growth. So that would be my like, get your processes down so that you can hire fast.
Where do you see the future then from that? Like taking that
Screwed.
to
Screwed, Mark.
that's right. You're like, I don't know what to do.
I'm tired of hearing myself say, so I just stopped saying it. I've said for so we're gonna hire, we're gonna do this, we're gonna get out of our own way, and we're going to like. I just stopped saying it because I don't even believe myself anymore.
I think the reality isn't what you have to remind yourself is there are so many of you that are in this, so many of us that are in the same boat. I know for years and years, every time I'd hire someone and it never worked out, I was like, why can't they just figure it out? Like, it's just a sales call. Why are they doing it so horribly? Why can't they sell this stuff down? Oh, I want to put a manager in place. No, 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 no. No one can do it better than Mark. No, don't worry about it because I'm very much a people pleaser. I'll go do it. Right.
Yeah.
Like I was a
Yep.
horrible delegator
Yeah.
for a huge part of the beginning in the industry. And I started to realize, and especially, being in the network and the groups that we are, is if you do it more than once, write it down.
Yes.
Make it into an SOP.
Yep.
Have that process set up. If that person is failing on a sales call, that means that you're failing at giving them the proper sales script that they should be following. Anybody
100%.
can learn how to tweak it over time. No
Yeah.
one's going to know what a 2-cube and a 4-cube is, and a four-wheeler and a
Yep.
wardrobe box over their first week. So
Yep.
you have to have that verbiage and that information down and giving them the foundation to learn and grow from it.
And I do
And
feel like we, with each one, like gave up too soon because it's
right.
like getting through that like horrible training time was just like I don't know, we didn't have tolerance for it, I guess. And we were just like, we're better off doing this ourselves. So here we are, 13 years into it, and still ourselves. Have no life outside of this. We literally are like 24/7 trapped to a cell phone. And yeah.
Whoa. I'm trying to like be like, okay, well, that's probably not which way you want to kind of go. But, I mean, you also, have, thanks to having that situation, you have made it so that you are quite a hometown dominator in the area that you're at.
And that was the goal. I will say, I consciously, like, we had a full blown conversation 13 years ago that I said to Gary when we like established roots in this town. My words were like, my goal is to be the moving company that if you are moving in this area, we're the only ones you think of. So like truly that was the goal from the very beginning.
What gives you that competitive edge? Like, what could you tell someone to like, that says, I really want to be a hometown dominator in my area? What have you done in terms of like community or
Everything that we have done, I can honestly say, has been coming from like a very genuine place. And I feel like people see that. So for instance, so we joke that, we have a main street center of town, and I say like, I want to be on the board on in everybody's store and restaurant. We have like a Big G Mover sandwich. We have a Big G Movers ice cream
seriously?
flavor. I swear to God. We are in a deli in town we have a Big G Mover sandwich. We have a Big G Movers ice cream flavor in an ice cream shop in town. But like,
How does someone go about doing that though? Like
now
I've seen
here's
someone where
where
they
I
had a
say
collab
how
with a
the
brewery as well too. So
yeah.
like
So
who are you
here's where
going
I
to?
say like how that happens so genuinely. So I'll give you the ice cream example. So there's this ice cream store in town that through COVID suffered terribly, and they were going to close. They couldn't stay open. And there was an opportunity for them to get a smaller place just a few doors down. The lease was a lot, more affordable. And there was like a GoFundMe and whatever. So there was this scale of like, if you donated X amount, you can get a t-shirt from them. A whole big list of like donation and what you would get for it. And one of them, the highest one, was you could do a takeover. The name of the ice cream place is What's the Scoop. So it was like you could do a What's the Scoop takeover and like run our shop for the night. And the only other person that did that highest level one was our mayor. So they and also I kind of know the woman just from like business things in town. That's a whole separate group that I do with like the business women in town, and she was a part of that. So she asked us to do her move of the ice cream shop, all the equipment and whatever. So we jokingly were like, all right, we'll do a little bargaining thing with you here for the cost of the move and the donation thing. We'll go do like a takeover that whatever. So then we turned it into my head just kind of never stops. I'm like, if it's only Big G and the mayor that are doing this takeover, I need to make it like a competition. Like I need to get more business in your store on a Big G takeover than the mayor can bring in on his, family takeover. So we plan this whole big thing, and then I turn it into like, how about we come up with an ice cream, and proceeds were involved with Move for Hunger. So I do a lot with the food pantry in town. So if people order this Big G Mover ice cream and they like it, we can do like her and I would do monthly proceeds go to the food bank in town. So like, let's raise money for a good cause in town for the food pantry. And at the same time, if the people come, if the people like the flavor, we keep it on the board, and Big G Movers and What's the Scoop will keep this donation going forever, for as long as this ice cream stays on your board. So literally every month now, her and I will talk at the end of the month, how much do we send to the food pantry based on sales from the ice cream flavor. And I mean, we did a whole big thing that night. We had literally like the Big G cutout guy was out front, and red ropes and music playing and anything we could do to like bring people in. People are sending me pictures of their kids with their blue mouths. To this day, I'm getting like that. My kids, it's all they talk about. They want the Big G ice cream and their tongue is blue. And it's just become like
That's so cool.
amazing.
I
So,
love it. What a
well,
smart collab. I think that's genius, and that's
and
really great
that,
on you, Tracy.
thanks. So, yeah. So, like, things like that, I think, are what really help us get our name out into the community, aside from truly our guys do an amazing move.
Right.
So
All with blue tongues.
oh, so that helps, of course. You
Yeah,
need, the moves to back up
of course.
the ice cream flavor.
That's
But
fair.
yeah, so our name is
I
out.
love that.
We
What
do
a
good
great
thing.
I love that. It's such a great story, because what it shows is anything is possible. And it's not that you turn around and says, okay, here's a big paycheck. We want, our name on an ice cream. You found a way to collab and make it into an event. Yeah, I love it. I mean, for those that are listening, like, get out and do this in your local community. Go talk to your local ice cream shop. Try and set something like that up. Even if it wasn't about raising money, raise money. Do it for Move for Hunger. Raise it for your community. Raise it for the food banks that are in your city that also need to be fed as well too. So this has been great. Tracy, we could probably keep talking for like another hour and go. We're gonna have to have you
Well,
back and do a
thank you,
part
Mark.
two.
You've made it easy for me, so I appreciate that.
I try my best. I try my best. Thank you. And next time maybe we'll get Gary. Maybe we won't. I probably will say I don't even want him on the show anymore. So this is just all about you and me, Tracy. For all those that are watching and listening, I just want to say thank you, Tracy. Check out Big G Movers if you are moving in the New Jersey area. They are the moving company to hire, to watch out for. And if you want to have any type of collaboration, whether it's just in your community or if you're a moving company that is looking to have a shipment out there, I'm sure that they'd love to work together with you and make sure they provide you with some of the best movers in town. And until next time, stay movified, everybody.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.